Hey, what's up guys, this is Victor here, and today let's talk about sweatcoin or sweat economy. I've talked about this project in the past before, but it's important for me to do an update because we're launching on the 12th of September, and that is about 37 days from now at the time of this recording. There are important things that I think you need to take note of before this happens. So it's going to be a short video, but just a refresher for those of you who have lost track about this particular project, or for those of you who have not heard about it. It is a move to earn project where the app would have access to your step counter on your mobile device or on your smartwatch and would convert your steps into what we call the sweat token. Now, the sweat token or the sweat coin has been around since 2017 as a Web 2 project. It is moving to Web 3, which I think is a natural progression for many projects like this, and is the best way to move as the world is getting towards more Web 3 orientation. And with that movement from Web 2 to Web 3 on the 12th of September, everyone who has sweat coins in their app will be converted into sweat token, and you will have a sweat wallet where you'll be able to have access to your tokens. We're going to talk about the release schedule and the vesting period shortly. But if you are not moving to earn right now, and I think the beautiful thing about this particular app is that you don't need to turn it on for it to count. Once you give it access, it will do that in the background and count your steps daily, converting it to sweat tokens that continues to accumulate in your wallet. This is kind of like the pre-sale round right now, where you can have access to one sweat token for every 1,000 steps. We're going to talk about how this is going to reduce over time, so it makes a lot of sense to get active right now. So I have a link in the video description if you want to get started on sweatcoin. It's absolutely free. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to buy, unless you choose to buy the premium package where you can double the number of sweat tokens for every 1,000 steps. I wouldn't advise it. I don't think it has any value as far as I'm concerned, because I'll explain that shortly. As always, nothing in this video should be considered financial advice. Please make sure to do your own research before you make any investment decision. And if you're new to the channel as well, you're welcome. Here we'll talk about new projects before they go mainstream. And if you want to stay in the loop of this project, feel free to give us a sub. Also, while you're at it, you can give this video a like to share this message to as many people as possible, as well as to encourage us to do more on the channel. Now, we've talked about the fact that we're moving from sweatcoin to sweat on the 12th of September 2022. And that's a couple of days from now, and that means if you are moving to earn on the platform, this is time to ramp up and to make as many sweat tokens as possible before that date happens. And why that is very important is for a number of reasons. So we have taken a look at the sweat economy in a previous video, but just to reiterate, we have about 11.5 million sweat wallets already created right now. I think that's the largest in any cryptocurrency project in the world as we speak. And then we have over 100 million people on the sweat coin side of things. And I think this project has been around since 2017 on the Web 2 space. I mentioned that earlier. It has a pedigree already. If you look at the ranking on the Apple App Store, the Google Play Store, not bad for a project that's been around for more than 5 years, I think. So they have a proven track record, a product that has been in this space for a long time. People have been utilizing the project without any issues, so I don't think that they're going to have any problems with it being crypto based and being on Web3 as well. But importantly for us to know is that the token supply is unlimited, which some of you might have some concerns for, but they have a number of mechanisms to burn the supply of the tokens. So one of them is the big burn that's going to happen at TGE, because whilst they're going to mint enough sweat tokens to match all the sweat coins that we are minting right now, there is going to be a massive supply of sweat coins based on that initial excitement that people have had toward this particular project. But they're going to burn 15% of the supply, which is going to be about 4 billion sweat coins that will be burnt at TGE, and that would reduce that supply to about 75% of what the expected number would be. How that's going to have an impact on the price? Obviously, it would have an impact. I'm not going to be drawing into price prediction for sweat token right now, because one, we are in a bear market. Things are happening in unpredictable fashion, but also is the fact that yes, I think that price will ramp up as quickly as possible, but the total amount of tokens that have been released at TGE just makes me feel that it's very kind of difficult to predict what's going to happen. and I'll tell you why. So TGE lockup. So we're gonna have only 10% of the tokens that we are minting right now released at TGE. The remaining 90% is going to be unlocked in 24 months, which means that if you have 1,000 sweat tokens in your wallet, you only have access to 100. And I don't think a lot of people have up to 1,000. People probably have maybe 200, 300. So most folks would have maybe just 20 sweat tokens in their possession, and that doesn't have any significant amount in terms of how much you could sell it for, because even if this goes to about $1 per token, which it can do, but that would take the market cap to somewhere around 10 to 12 billion right at TG, which is going to be a little bit high. So I don't think it might get to $1. It most likely will be somewhere around maybe 50 cents. So if you had 100 sweat tokens at 50 cents, I mean, like, what's the incentive to sell? So most people will not be incentivized to sell. They might be incentivized to stake their tokens, which is going to be possible on the platform for you to earn more, or just to wait out how this would perform in the return of the bull run. So as much as most people are getting excited about being able to mint the sweat tokens, you're not going to have a lot on an individual basis right now for it to be worth your while to sell. Some folks will still sell anyway, but then it's not going to be significant on an individual basis, and it's just only going to be 10% of total supply. So I expect the price to hold up very well, regardless of what's happening in the entire crypto space. Obviously, if Bitcoin crashes or dips really hard, it would have an effect as well on sweat token. But if it's just 10% of supply that we have, then I don't think that a lot of harm can happen to it. If we talk about the token distribution, I mentioned this in the past. The only part I have a little bit of concern is the fact that the Sweat Co Limited has 22%, and then they still have the team and advisors with 10%, which means that the project owners already own over 30% of the project. I do know that, yes, the vesting schedule did say that for Sweatco is going to be 12-month cliff and then unlocked over 36 months, which means that their release may not have a massive impact on the price action, but it's still a significant amount of the total supply that is being given to the founders and the team members, and that we'll start to see the effect of after 1 year. And which may very well be in another bull cycle where the price of the token would have appreciated, I think, by massive amounts, and it might start to tank the project back then. So if you are really invested in this project, you need to give a look out for some of these release schedules that are planned to happen in 12 months, 1 year from now. That will be next year, September, most likely. And then the foundation treasury is about 27%, but 20% is unlocked at TG, 80% unlocked over 36 months. So there's no cliff period. It's going to be released immediately from launch. So this is going to be very important, especially for those that would intend to buy the tokens once available on exchanges. Now, they have said that they are partnering with a number of exchanges to make this available, especially even on ramp support for fiat purchase on the wallet directly. You will be able to buy the tokens directly on the wallet, as well as sell, convert it both ways, and that, I think, is a good thing that we have on their side. We talked about minting the tokens right now. I mentioned that there's a link in the video description. If you are not yet on the platform, you can register, create an app, register, and start to earn some tokens for free. It just counts your steps in the background. You don't need to turn on the app. You don't need to buy any NFTs to get started. So right now we are making 1,000. For every 1,000 steps, we get 1 sweat token. That will reduce in 2023 to 0.33, and you can see the level of difficulty to earn the sweat tokens will continue to increase over time. So it's kind of very important to get in super early. This is a long-term play. The way I see it, I see this as a product that would pay off maybe handsomely for most people that got in super early somewhere around next year. And especially when we have a return of the bull market and we start to see that it becomes a lot more difficult for people to get their hands on the tokens for free. People would have to buy to have access to it. So it's important to mint as much as you can right now, which is the reason why I'm kind of making the videos that I make regarding this particular project. So we see here that there's going to be difficulty in earning. Then we're also going to have a new thing called inactivity fee, which means that if you are not active on the platform, then they would continue to give you less and less sweat. So you need to as much as the app would count your steps in the background, you need to also make sure that you're actively, utilizing the application. I think that's just a way to incentivize people to turn on the application to see what's on offer. There are quite a number of other things that are available on the app itself. A number of bonuses, free airdrops. You can watch a video or partake in some activity to earn some free sweat coins as well. So there is a number of incentive for you to use the application. It's just that most folks might not want to use it, hence the need for the inactivity fee, where you'll be charged a fee when you're not active on the platform. So those are very important things that I think we need to take note of right now. The launch date, as mentioned earlier, is still going to be 12th of September 2022. I don't expect it to have any, I expect the price to might be significantly moving overall for the market cap of the project, but on an individual basis, I don't expect anyone to have any massive supply. I don't know, maybe folks who have been on the platform for 5 years would have a massive supply, but for most of us who just got in a couple of months ago, it's not that massive. So nothing to get super excited for yet, but I think long term this might become a very, very profitable venture for most folks. So what do you think about Sweatcoin? Are you participating? Do you think it's going to be like step in and may not have any impact after a couple of months? Is it a Ponzi scheme? Some of you have labeled step in, and many other move to earn platforms. Want to hear what you feel about it? Feel free to drop a comment in the comment section. If you have any questions as well, you can drop your questions. I'll try to answer as many as I can. And until I catch you guys in the next one, stay winning.